All right, let's talk about a simple but honestly powerful way to stop feeling so busy all the time and actually start living with a bit more intention. And no, this isn't about some complicated productivity hack. It's really about a change in how we think, inspired by some timeless Japanese wisdom. And it all kicks off with a question that I bet sounds pretty familiar to you.
So, does this sound like your life? The day is just a blur, right? You're jumping from task to task, answering messages, putting out little fires everywhere. And then at the end of the day, you're just completely wiped out. You hit the pillow and you're thinking, what did I actually get done today? You were busy, for sure, but were you productive? It's a frustrating feeling.
Okay, so here's the secret. The problem isn't you. It's not because you're lazy or disorganized. Think about it. Our modern world is basically designed to hijack our attention. Every single app, every notification ping, it's all built to grab a little piece of your time and, well, never give it back. So you're not failing at time management. You're stuck in a fight that willpower, all on its own, was just never equipped to win.
And that right there leads us to our first big idea. We've got to totally rethink this whole idea of just trying harder. It's time we moved past this myth of willpower.
So in Japan, there's this really cool concept called gaman. And it's not what you might think. It's not about gritting your teeth and pushing through until you break. It's more about enduring wisely, with patience, with dignity. It's this understanding that some challenges need a different tactic. They need strategy, not just raw effort.
You know, we tend to think of willpower as this infinite muscle, right? Like we can just keep pushing that boulder up the hill forever. But that's not how it works. The truth is, it's a limited resource. Every little decision you make all day long just drains it, bit by bit. The Graham way of thinking, though, is different. It's about building a life, a system, where you don't have to rely on willpower all the time, because making the right choice is just, well, easier.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Well, there's a really simple framework that lines up perfectly with this whole idea. It's a 4-step cycle. First, you highlight one priority for the day. Second, you create the focus to get it done. Third, you protect your energy. And fourth, you reflect on how it all went. It's just a simple loop you can repeat every single day.
All right, let's dig into step 1, choosing your daily highlight. This is all about consciously deciding what matters most every single day. It's about being proactive instead of just reacting to everything.
You know, this idea is actually a lot like the Japanese practice of chore. In a lot of homes and even workplaces there, the day starts with this little ceremony. It's just a moment to pause, gather your thoughts, and set the tone for the day. It basically gives your whole day a central point, like a point of gravity.
My grandfather, he had a ritual that was kind of like that. Every single morning, he would just sit quietly and ask himself this one really simple question. He wasn't trying to map out his entire day, he was just picking the one thing that would make that day feel meaningful. And if he got that one thing done, no matter what else happened, the day was a success in his book.
So here's a little challenge for you. Try this tomorrow. Before you even look at your phone, before you let the world's agenda flood in, just take 1 minute. Seriously, just 60 seconds. Ask yourself, what one thing would make today feel worthwhile? Pick something, just one thing, and then just hold that idea in your mind. You'd be amazed how that one little decision can totally change the shape of your entire day.
Okay, so you've picked your highlight. Now what? The next step is absolutely crucial. You have to create the space to actually do it. And that means you have to guard your attention.
There's another Japanese concept called mushin, which translates to no mind. It's that incredible state of deep focus, when the rest of the world just kind of melts away. But here's what's so interesting. You don't get there by forcing yourself to focus. You get there by removing everything that doesn't belong.
I mean, think about it like this. For a samurai in battle, a single moment of distraction could be fatal. Literally life or death. So they trained for years to clear their minds of everything, fear, doubt, distractions, until they were 100% present. They cleared the battlefield before the fight even started.
We can do the exact same thing in our digital lives. You can create your own laser mode. How? By making distractions just a little bit harder to get to. Put your phone in another room. Close those 20 browser tabs you have open. Look, you're not building a prison for yourself. You're just clearing your own battlefield so your mind can do its best work without having to fight off temptation every 5 seconds.
All right, let's talk about the foundation. This is the piece that so many productivity systems completely miss:
your physical energy. I mean, all the focus in the world is totally useless if you don't have the fuel in the tank to actually sustain it.
And yep, there's a Japanese word for this too. Genki. It basically means your natural health, your life force. And it's not something you create with a bunch of caffeine. It's this energy that's already inside you, and your job is just to nurture it and protect it.
My grandmother, she just got this instinctively. She never once talked about productivity, but man, she slept well, she went for a walk every single morning, and she ate simple, real food. And I'm telling you, at 70 years old, she had more calm, steady energy than most people I know have at 30. She just lived by that simple truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
So taking care of your energy isn't some extra thing you do if you have time. It is the prerequisite. We're talking about sleep, movement, and real food. Look, I know these aren't shiny new hacks, but they're the absolute non-negotiable foundation that makes everything else we're talking about even possible.
And that brings us to the final piece of our daily cycle. This is the step that makes sure this whole thing isn't some rigid, stressful system, but instead it's a way to learn and just get a little bit better day by day.
In a lot of Japanese martial arts, every session ends with mokuso, which is silent reflection. The students just sit quietly and review what went well, what could be better. And the key here is that it's not about beating yourself up. It's a gentle, honest way of learning from your own experience. So, at the end of your day, you can have your own little moment of mokuso. Just take a couple of minutes and ask yourself these simple questions. Start to notice the patterns. Maybe you realize, hey, my energy totally crashes after a big lunch. That's not a failure. That's just really useful information. You're basically becoming a student of your own life. So, when you put all these pieces together, you choose a highlight, you protect your focus, you fuel your energy, and you take a minute to reflect, something really profound starts to happen. A shift occurs. You stop living a life that's just one big reaction, and you start living a life of intention. I mean, just look at the difference here. A reactive day, it's like you're a boat just getting tossed around on the waves, constantly reacting to other people's demands. But a chosen day, that day has a center. It has a direction. You can't always control the river, sure, but you can always control which way you point your boat.
In this simple, gentle cycle, this is what creates real, lasting change. You stop fighting against your day, and you start moving with it. And the best part? This doesn't take superhuman discipline. It just takes a little bit of patience to repeat this small, intentional cycle every day. So I'm going to leave you with one question to take with you into your morning. What one thing will make your day worthwhile tomorrow?